Hi, I wanted to take a couple minutes to bring you through a learning contract. Some of you have done one before, but if you haven't, then I want you to understand how the learning contract works. So the learning contract is an agreement between you, the student, and me, the professor, that articulates what you're trying to learn, how you're going to go about learning it, and what you will turn in to me to assess how well you did at that goal. So every learning contract must have a cover page. It should have the name of the course. It should have my name. It should have the topic that you have, and then it should have your name. So this is an example of one, and I might point out things that are done well or that are not done particularly well with this particular learning contract. But every learning contract should have a table of contents that will include a needs statement, and I'll explain that, what is called a SMART objective, and that's an acronym that I'll explain, your learning tasks, that's literally what you're going to do to learn, and then how we'll evaluate the overall goal that you have set and your achievement during this class together, and then finally a reflection section. So this table of contents you want to make sure to have, and you want to make sure to have each one of these areas in your learning contract. So the needs statement can be half a page to a page and a half, but it really needs to focus on doing just a few things. It should tell me what you are trying to learn. So the title that was given is the topic, but you should articulate a little more detail about that topic. You should tell me why that topic is important for you to learn. And so make a connection back to why this is a relevant learning opportunity for you. It can be very personal. It can be very professional in orientation, but you should be able to, when I'm done reading it, I should understand what you're studying and why that's important, and you think it can be helpful to you as you progress in your learning in your career. The SMART objective, you can see it's on a separate page, and I think that's great to kind of cut to a separate page for the SMART objective. But SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So the first thing I'm asking is there a very specific goal? So I'll learn how to start and run a small business. That's specific. And I'll learn to use skills and strategies that are instrumental in maximizing success. It's a little less specific. If you could name the skills, for example, I hope to then use all my findings to make a business plan. Okay, a business plan is specific. It's measurable. We can see if you've written one. It's attainable. It can be done during our class. It's a reasonable goal to reach during a summer course. And is it relevant? Well, the relevance doesn't matter. Is this important? If you want to learn about entrepreneurship, then business plan development is a relevant and meaningful skill. And then finally, it should be time sensitive. And this one is not. So I'm sorry, it is up here at the beginning. Usually that's at the end. So the time frame is within the next 4 weeks. That's the time bound, or within at least the term of the semester for this summer session 1 is what you're looking at. And you need to articulate that because this is a contract, and a SMART objective meets all of those 5 goals. So I will evaluate whether your SMART objective meets those goals and grade according to whether or not it does. The learning tasks must be set up in a spreadsheet like this. There should be at least 2 tasks per week. So in the first week, the task is to write the learning contract and to do some initial research so that you can come up with other tasks. We have a very short time, so you have to move quickly in the course. In the second third and fourth weeks, you will need 2 tasks each week. So be as specific as you can with the task. For example, if I'm doing an interview, don't just tell me you're doing an interview, but tell me who you're doing it with. The due dates, again, you should have ones that fall. I like to use sprints now. So if you think of all 4 weeks, each week as a sprint, you could have 2 that are sprint 1, 2 that are sprint 2, 2 that are sprint 3, and 2 that are sprint 4. You cannot have more than 3 tasks in any one sprint, but you should have 2 minimally. The deliverable is, what are you going to turn in to me? So this says shared with Dr. Star, but literally the deliverable is the learning contract. So it could say the learning contract delivered to Dr. Star. For videos, it's going to be the notes that were taken. For an interview, it can be the questions and the answers to that interview. They could be delivered in writing. They could be recorded. If it's something that you've emailed back and forth, it can be shared in an email. In general, you get a lot more learning if you do an interview in person, but that's not always possible. So the deliverable is telling me what you're going to turn in. You can think of this as the assignment that's being handed in. And that's really critical. You must use this format. You must answer all 3. I would like you to write sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, and sprint 4. And you can think of a sprint as a week. Along with each deliverable you have here, you'll see on the website, you also have what's called a sprint report that is due. And I will go over that in another video. The evaluation method will be the same for everyone. So the evaluation method, you literally could cut and paste what you see here. Deliverables directly determined value and work on the learning tasks. So one of the evaluations that you'll turn in is the deliverables each week. Then you'll have weekly sprint reports that are also due and will be graded. And then finally, you have a final PowerPoint reflection that needs to be submitted in the final week, the last day of class. So all 3 of those things will be done by each student, and you should have it written there. The reflection, so if I come back, this PowerPoint, this final PowerPoint reflection, in the reflection section, you would have, make sure that you answer the following 5 items. What did you want to learn and why? Briefly on one of the slides. What I learned about my topic. What of the things that you did to learn were the most helpful? What would you do if you wanted to keep learning about this topic after the semester? And then finally, your own self-evaluation. How do you feel like you did? What grade would you give yourself? And so that's a learning contract. And then you do need literally a place for you to sign, me to sign, and the date. Now, I will tell you that I'm not big on killing trees for killing trees. So if we came up to this and we deleted and moved some of this back a page, and let's undo. Let's not make this bulleted anymore. You could have the evaluation and the reflection on the same page. And you could even move the signing if it fits up to that page. And then we'll kill a few less trees. All right. Hope you find that helpful.